Hey everyone, welcome back to Change Coach Conversations. This is number 4. Feels like it's been more than 4, but I guess this is just number 4. That's where we are. So in this conversation, we want to look at your role as a coach. So the name of this one is Your Client's Change is the Reason Why You're a Coach. We love to see people open up to brand new things they haven't seen before. We love to see things that hold them back fall away. I get to see this every single day with people because the power of this understanding that I share, and it's just so powerful, and it wakes things up in people with very little effort on our part, which is awesome. So that's why we do this, right? We love to see that. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing someone. I had a call with someone this morning, and she was saying she's new to coaching, and she was saying that she talked with someone, and when she first started talking with them, they were kind of gray and they left pink. And I just love that. Like, I know exactly what that is. Like, to see someone who's just so buried in nothing but their own thinking that looks real. And as that lightens up, people turn pink in front of you. They reverse age sometimes, honest to God. Like, you see a change and you hear about a change and you feel a change. So that's why we do this. It's what most helpers and coaches I know live for. And there's a huge seeming paradox in this. It's not your responsibility. Like, you can't make them go from gray to pink. You're not in control of that. You don't make that happen, but it's why you do what you do. So let's look at this a little bit. So I think of coaching, especially from this new paradigm, what I do and what I train people to do, like what, if you're listening to this, probably what you do or what you want to do, is kind of like helping a blind person see in their own mind a sunset. Now, you can't give them the picture that you see. Like, you see the sunset because you're not blind. They're blind. You're trying to help them have an experience of that sunset that in some way, perhaps, I mean, it has to be based on your experience because that's all you know, right? But in some way kind of mirrors what you see. So how do you give a blind person an experience of the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen? You don't just go in and describe it. You might start there, right? But it's ongoing. It's an exploration. It's really about us pointing. We give little pointers. We talk about things. We give a feel. You're trying to impart a feel, a real experience of something for the person you're talking with. So you might talk about the colors. You might talk about the warmth. You might talk about the feeling you have as you look at the sunset. Like, it's multifaceted. But our role, like, we can't give them what we see as much as you want to at times. And trust me, when you're working with someone who's struggling and you see how beautiful life is and how much hope there is for everyone, including them, you want nothing more than to be able to just give that to them. Like, I wish you could just see it this way. And I say that to clients all the time. You can be honest. It's just a conversation, right? Like, I wish you could see it the way I see it. And then you go about pointing. You go about pointing in whatever creative, fun, interesting, ways occur to you. And it's a conversation. You don't just sit there and point at them. You point and you ask them, what do you see in that? What do you hear in that? Tell me how it looks to you. So you're asking tons of questions and getting to know more about, well, tell me what you think it is, and then you point some more and then you check back in. It's a back and forth dance. But our role as the coach is never to give them change or give them insight, and that's not our responsibility. We can't do that. So people wake up to something. People wake up to their own health or how they work or who they really are. They wake up to their own freedom, their own habit freeness or anxiety freeness. They have it already. So it's when their own thinking settles enough that it's like the clouds part a little bit. When their own thinking relaxes and they can get a bit of a feel or a sense for what you're pointing them toward, it starts just waking up within them because it's within them already. So I love this so much because, like, why is this important, right? It's important in so many ways. One, it's important because the more we as helpers see that it's not our responsibility to make any specific thing happen. Not only is it not a responsibility, but we can't do it. All we can do is point. That's all we're here for, is to point. And that's enough, because what we're pointing toward, again, is already in them. We can't make it wake up in them. We can't put it there, but we don't need to. It's in them already. So the beauty in this is that the pointers go so much further than you might think. I mean, a pointer is all a person needs, because it's like if you have something on the tip of your tongue, all you need is a little reminder, that tip of the tongue phenomenon, a little reminder, and you're like, oh, there it is. That's how this is. It's so fun. That's how this is. So it's like we're trying to help. Everybody has that tip of the tongue phenomenon, and we're trying to help them just say little things that'll just click it off within them, and then it opens up. And so it's in them already. We don't have to put it there, and we get to just play. And that's what I love so much about this, is it knowing this, knowing that it's not our role, it's not our responsibility, that their thinking is going to clear and they're going to see it. It takes us off the hook in huge ways. You don't have to stay up at night wondering if you helped your client. You don't have to worry if they leave your conversation feeling less than amazing, if they don't have an insight on your watch. Most of the time, they don't have an insight on our watch, but they have them later. They have them throughout their life based on our pointers. Our pointers just kind of set them up for it, right? So it takes so much off of us, and the beauty in that is that when we aren't feeling like we're on the hook for our client's change or our client's insight, or our client needs to stop their habit this week or end their anxiety before we stop our package together or whatever, when that's all off the table, oh my gosh, it's just fun. And your creativity comes right to the surface. And so that's what it is. It's like a fun dance. It's a fun game. And you get good at it. You're better at it. You're so much more effective, because here's the thing. You're going to point and miss. You're going to try to explain that sunset, explain someone's innate health to them, tell them how you see life, and they aren't going to hear it a lot, like all the time. But if that's okay, if that's just part of the game, you just keep going. And you know what happens then? You get good. Like you just keep going, and then eventually they do hear things, and then they hear something and they're like, oh, you mean this? Or I think I know what you're talking about. And then you're like, yes, that's exactly what I mean. Now you tell me what you see. So it becomes this beautiful back and forth without all the pressure and agenda of a specific outcome, or waking them up in a specific way, because that's really on them. And that's not even on them, really. It's just our design sets us up for it. Our design totally sets us up for it. So we're pointers. That's all we are, as pointers. And that's not, like, that's a lot. We can get really good at pointing. So again, it feels like a bit of a paradox, because it's like, well, if I'm not responsible for them waking up, what am I here for? And what role do I play? You can learn to point. Now there's a range. We just throw stuff out, and that's fine. And our own common sense and wisdom guides a lot of our pointing, and that's great. But there's a bit of a science to it too. There's skill to it. There's practice makes you better. So it's both. It's an art and a science. It's super fun exploration, and there's a bit of a thing to it where you can learn to point in a way where you kind of see the signs of someone starting to wake up, or what wakes them up. And the better you get at pointing, I mean, to me as a coach, as a helper, there's nothing more important to spend my time doing. It's just learning to point the best I can, because I see the payoff. It's incredible. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it takes, if you're a helper already, I hope this takes some off your mind, because you have so much little responsibility than you think you do. And that's great news. That actually makes you more effective. It makes your clients need you more. It makes your work easier and so much more fun and so much more fulfilling. So if you want to learn to point in the best way you can possibly point, in a super supportive, super in-depth, step-by-step training program, check out the link below, the Change Coach training program. And I'll see you back here next week. And next week is how to help someone break a habit. What a cool topic. So I'm really excited to, as a coach, talk about what goes into helping someone find freedom from a habit. Thanks for listening. See you next week.